Hello and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm the executive producer here, John Bates, and I've got a few pre-show notes for you. First of all, I'd like to thank our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, Samantha Bates, and Maureen Montee, without whom we wouldn't be able to do much, especially not all the content that we put forward now. I also want to thank all the people that have joined on with us since the, I would say, successful experiment that was Midsummer Night's Dream. If you're interested in that, go check out our YouTube channel, where youtube.com/Sensaku, where we performed the world's first, as far as we're aware, live stream production of a community theater performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream. That sounds like a lot of qualifiers. It's more just because that's the way I talk. Please go enjoy them, give us feedback, let us know if you'd like to see more of that in the future. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do so on our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms. You can also follow us on Twitter at Final Show Films, or follow me personally at John A. Bates for all future updates and live notifications for our live stream. In the meantime, sit back, relax, enjoy. We're live, and really quick, thank you to Elspeth Knight Errant for following us on Twitch Prime. Yay! Thank you for giving us Jeff Bezos' money. Anyways.
We appreciate all of our subscribers and patrons, and yeah, we like that stuff. That's awesome. But hello and welcome back to Afterlight Skies. It has been a while since this particular crew of the nominally rebellion-oriented by coercion heroes-ish.
I mean, look, if you need people killed, just point me in a direction and give me a blaster. That's all I'm saying.
I was being paid for this.
I prefer the term reprobate.
They just kind of picked me up off the street.
Quite
Our
literally.
Of people that are at this moment opposed to the Empire.
Yes.
Have actually been going about doing that. They've been on a small Zabraki moon that it serves as a mining outpost that recently was significantly overrun by the Empire due to some of the group's past exploits. They're trying to track down a vice admiral by the name of Aki Taurus, who seems to be connected to a Project Titania and some other imperial contingencies and planning that could go very badly for the rebellion and or the rest of the galaxy, because that's what the Empire tends to do with their spare time, is make things go badly for everyone else. And Aki has a bit of history with a few members of the group. Last week, they explored the cave mines and in the small town, the small mining town where the army has taken up station. They determined that there's some larger construction project ongoing that seems to be taking a fair number of the resources being harvested in the mine, and they also determined that there is some level of surveillance system around both the shipyard where they're stationed and the town that the Empire is stationed in, that constitutes this network of blue orbs on pedestals and in front of houses. And I'm sure there was something else I was going to note in this intro, but it's been a month, so we're just going to introduce our characters, starting with Jeremy.
Hello, my name is Jeremy. I am playing Lux, Zeltron, spy slash force sensitive slash shadow sentinel slash I have so many goddamn careers. And I am going to roll Destiny. One dark side.
Seems appropriate.
I'm going to refresh roll 20 because nothing's showing up anymore. John?
I'm John, and I'm playing Eri Sartinos, the Mandalorian mercenary soldier, which rolls right off the tongue, really nice. I'm gonna roll some destiny, and oh, look at that, two light side. I guess I'm on the righteous side of the law.
I mean,
That's
there is
not
a reason.
what the light side means in this context.
There's a reason everybody loves the name Mandalorian Mercs.
Oh, don't get me started. Bad for a Star Wars podcast. William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Helix, HK-53 assassination droid, and I roll for destiny a dark side, keeping it even.
And Kat.
I'm Kat. I'm playing Powder, the medical droid. And I got us another dark side because that's how I roll today, apparently.
I was waiting for the digital dice to somehow roll a physical dice that's shattered in half and landed on both light and dark.
Yeah.
That happens.
Roll 20 is cursed.
Something.
Like, if that happens, we stop
If that
and call an
happens, the game is
exorcist.
done. Oh, man. Whew.
I don't
I
know
feel
if
like the destiny die should have a light and dark.
appropriate for a Star Wars specific, but moving on. Last week, wait, I just did that.
We're on the ship.
We're all professional here. Sorry.
It's been a while.
Wait.
It's fine.
Right now, we're picking up. Lux, you've just been handed a robot head by Helix that of one of those sort of jellyfish-shaped scout droids. It's clearly non-functional. The power pack is basically destroyed by a small blade that was embedded and probably has been removed at this point, given that it is in Helix's arm.
I just like the idea that Helix walked down the street with it, like just
It's just like on his fist, just
stuck up on the blade.
no,
We're trying to be subtle. I
Yeah.
assume you didn't, but
no, I did not actually.
We went out and got your dinner, Lux.
Yeah, and people say you guys never get me anything nice.
Query: do they?
No. That was a joke.
Affirmative. Of course it was.
All right. Let's see what's in this some bitch.
well,
I'm going to take it to well, where I do most of my work, the cockpit.
okay.
Actually, no, I'll probably take it to where that crazy short human used to call their lab, and work there because there's probably more tech tools there.
Yeah, it's probably where a fair amount of stuff is currently set up. Not that you couldn't move it into the cockpit, but
Yeah.
all right. I'm just gonna say, give me a difficulty 3 computers to
Okay.
see what you can get. Is there anything specific that you're trying to go for just off the bat?
I mean, stuff related to what we're here for. So, any further information that this droid may have on our favorite frenemy, security information,
Right.
yeah, that sort of thing. And then anything else that may come along, of course.
All right. Yeah. Just
Opening up
make
the index and seeing what folders are there. Oh, look, top secret Imperial plans. Click, click.
Top secret. Don't click on that. That is almost definitely like a virus or something.
Oh, that's a trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That is we will blow up the stupid hacker.
no, it's not a .exe. It's just a folder. So it's a drop down.
It's still. It is an exe cleverly designed to look like a folder.
It's a folder filled with programs
I
that
know
run
you
automatically as soon as it is opened.
I know you can make folders that look like programs. It's very difficult to make a program that looks like a folder, though.
I mean, not in fantasy universes.
Yeah. We're operating based on the level of tech and the kinds of hacking that happen in the Star Wars universe.
Which is like mid-90s DOS OS.
For some reason, but it does a lot more.
Mid-90s DOS OS with laser beams.
Yeah.
In a sci-fi setting.
All right.
Yeah.
So diff 3 computers. I don't have anything that's going to matter for this since there's not setback dice or the like. Other than the fact that I do it quicker. So first die rolling out of the Empire in
a month.
Well, over a month. Let's see how this goes. Man, do I want to re-roll that?
Do you?
It is up to you.
Oh yeah,
There's a
GM. Which one of
lot.
us is stressed out today?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I need to roll that D100. Thank you.
Want me to roll it? I have a macro.
Sure, roll a D100 because I apparently can't type.
54.
All right.
Yeah.
That is below the threshold, so Helix, you haven't been the person with traumatic issues yet.
Yay.
So yeah, you're potentially a bit preoccupied with the other things you could be doing and wanting to get this over with and all of that.
People I could be killing, contracts I could be fulfilling.
Yeah. So you're at a -2 on the strain threshold. Everyone else is at a -1 by osmosis. I love that. When one of your party members is annoyed, it makes everyone less effective.
It's my fault because I pick up on those noises and I broadcast them to everybody else subconsciously.
When I pick up on those noises,
Flavor-wise, that would fit a Selch.
Except I'm a droid.
Well, no, I pick up on your annoyance by your physical tics and like, because on this ship nobody knows you as good as I do.
That's fair.
And so knowing those, I just subconsciously create that tension and send it out to everybody else.
when I see that,
I don't know how it hits powder.
Droids are connected to the
Science.
force bond of the party.
There you go.
I mean, when I feel stressed, I just start playing death metal over the ship's intercom. So that probably also causes it.
I mean, in the case of Helix, it's more like as he's walking around for no particular reason, the vibro knife in his wrist just pops out and back in constantly, just as he's kicking around.
Everyone a little bit more on edge than they would otherwise be.
You're doing the, you're doing the lighter flick, but with the
with a knife.
With a pen click, yeah.
Yeah, with a knife in his wrist.
Yep.
I mean, when death metal starts playing through the intercom, that's just the point that the intercom stops functioning for a while. But yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna re-roll that because that was a lot of things. And not much success. So
time for our historic Lux reroll failure.
3 successes.
Hey!
Yay!
All right, with 3 successes, the thing that you learn almost regardless because you did not fail is you get access to all of the things that were in its immediate memory. It didn't spot Helix before it went down, but it does have a lot of records of the internal patterns of the caves, structural stability, mineral composition. None of that is necessarily interesting to you, but it does confirm for you what that droid was doing there because it was taking in enough of this data that it would otherwise be really superfluous if the droid was not looking for that information.
Okay. And it didn't have any kind of warning that something bad was about to happen, that it might have transmitted to someone else?
No, though it probably hasn't checked in. It seemed to have like a beam back for additional instructions pretty regularly, and that definitely has not happened.
I mean, it's fun. We weren't exactly subtle about the fact that we were here in multiple instances.
You're not subtle about being here. Also,
You say we.
This thing probably wouldn't have survived a significant cave-in, so it's possible they don't know it's missing from where they'd expect it to be yet.
True.
Until they dig that cave-in up and they find there's
and
no
yes,
droid parts.
when I say we, I actually mean we this time, because yeah, you covered it well, but you did get in a firefight. Not that I'm complaining, that was kind of the point. And I did kind of leave a message.
We didn't get into a firefight. I chopped the dude's legs off.
A metaphorical firefight.
There was a firefight!
Mandalorian motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now I'm just seeing Lux played by Willem Dafoe.
Pretty surface level available.
Okay.
The next thing that you find that may be more what you're interested in is you find some rough, not necessarily security information, but information of its routines and like the maps it uses to navigate the facilities that it navigates to go recharge and to go deliver information or samples to the science department. It doesn't seem like this droid has super classified information. However, it does seem like it has that, like, I go in this droid hole, float down, float over here, float in there, type of like layout information.
And I will now always refer to power stations as droid holes.
Well, no, this is a Star Wars thing. Like, there will be specifically droid-shaped entrances for like our droids in a flight area or
droid tunnels.
I know what you're referring to. I'm just now going to always refer to them as droid holes.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. So yeah, I will pass that along.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, what's the next plan?
Well,
I'm leaning towards wanton destruction.
Yes and no.
Query: are you not always?
Yes.
Not always. There are occasional times where a more precise and subtle blade is involved. That's when I use the axe.
Query: the axe is the more subtle response.
As opposed to the blaster rifle, yes. And frag grenades. I'm crashing the ship into the planet.
Right.
Sarcastic remark. Mandalorian walks into a bar and the bar shatters.
Yeah?
So, I first want to give it about at least a night, a rest cycle. Because I want to see what, if anything, our recent actions cause our new our quarry here to do. The short answer is potentially anything, because Aki's a little batshit crazy. So it's kind of hard to predict.
Are we talking like puts doilies on toilets crazy, or are we talking hangs people by their toes and beats them like a pinata crazy.
I will answer that question with photographic evidence.
Somebody brought a picture of a doily on a toilet.
And also I reject the idea that doilies are crazy.
No. It's not that doilies are crazy. It's the location and placement.
Yeah. And I pull up the photos from the warehouse.
Windows doilies don't go on toilets. They go on tables underneath. Anyways.
As Aries has very strong feelings about the proper placement of doilies, Aries, you also do see something that Lux is showing you. She pulls out what appears to be a fairly a small data pad and scrolls through some photos. It's clearly a warehouse, and the immediate thing that's evident in the first few photos is the dismembered bits of several bodies, no clothing to be found on the half of a torso or limbs or anything like that. Is all of these little pieces of people all assembled into a sort of like a classic cartoon heart shape.
So they're stringing them up by the toes and beating them like pinata kind. All right, got it.
So scrolling through a little further, there are the decapitated heads that presumably belonged to those bodies, as well as a message scrawled in blood that says something. I believe
it was "Death to Traitors."
Yeah. It says "Death to Traitors" in so the artistic version of beating someone like a pinata, at least according to those images.
Beating somebody like a pinata.
Take any images of the? Did you take any images of the eggs when you were there, or no?
I believe so.
Okay. Additionally, there's what is the last few are not necessarily contextualized for you. They're a town square, or just covered in somewhat deteriorated, days old at least, eggshells lining the town square.
What kind of is this chicken eggshells or
probably the size of space chicken eggs?
Oh yeah, okay, so
the Star Wars equivalent of chicken eggs.
Not sand dragon eggs.
No.
These are not crate eggs.
Yeah, it's not crate dragon eggs. Okay.
They're probably a different pattern or color than a chicken would be on Earth, but I don't.
Yeah, but this big, not Jawa big.
Right.
Yes.
I feel like actually the last picture would then be of the scene that Lux left in the apartment.
And then there's a guy in an apartment who has just a heart carved into the wood of the floor and a blaster bolt through his torso.
I think I killed him more violently than that, though, didn't I? Didn't I chop it? I swear I lightsabered
and murdered him. Yeah.
Yeah. I fucked his ass up.
Oh wait,
brutalized body. Sorry.
Is this Aki Taurus?
No, that wasn't Aki. That was my message to her. I think we're flirting at this point.
I mean, it looks like it.
But that's my point. I want to see what her reaction to that is.
I imagine based solely on the previous images, her reaction would be, "Ha, cute."
I mean, yeah, conceivably, but she's also somebody who very clearly likes to be in control of situations and likes to be the one sending the messages, not necessarily the one getting the messages. This indicates that she is not in control. She does not have everybody on this planet cowed and obeying her every whim. She's not all powerful here anymore. I want to see how she reacts to that, because that's the kind of thing where people start making mistakes. And if she doesn't, she doesn't. but
What?
you give somebody the chance to make the unforced error.
So what do we do in the meantime?
Well, we all just went on a murder spree, so I think the answer is get some rest.
I mean, typically that just makes me hungry.
Then get something to eat and watch Mandalorian porn or whatever it is you do. Don't tell me what Mandalorian porn is. I have a specific image in my head, and I don't want it ruined.
I will not enlighten you then.
Thank you.
Query: would you please enlighten me later? Just for informational purposes, I am a protocol droid after all.
Sure.
But we relax for a bit. We get some rest. We recuperate, and then is it nighttime on this planet? Is it? I assume it's nighttime at this point because I think we went out during a time that was good for stealth, which is nightish.
Yeah, I think it's night by this point.
Okay. We wait until the morning because it might take her a while to find this information anyways.
Didn't you say there was like a big fuck off red light?
There was,
I think
but it's a combination of that and what you guys did. That's going to make it clear that there's somebody here with the resources at the very least to do two separate things at the same time.
Oh, it'll be a while before they excavate that cave.
Yeah, but the cave in itself is going to be something. So we give some rest, we give them some time, and in the morning we do a little recon.
Right then, I'm gonna get food, and I go get food.
Cool.
Okay. Easy enough.
I'm sure there's some sort of all-you-can-eat bring your own pasta place.
Are you going out into town, or are you just getting food on?
I'll go out. I mean, might as well see what's going on because I haven't spent a whole lot of time on this place anyways. So I'll go out.
Helix
Don't
is going.
Go to the pasta place. Historically, that has not turned out well for us.
But the breadsticks are so good.
I mean, it's worked out well for me.
Completely failed at being an espionage team.
Helix will also go out, but he's mostly going to be scouting. He's going to be doing some reconnaissance because he needs to be working right now, and he's not working. So he's gonna go look for potential targets.
You were literally working like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, but that's an hour and a half ago.
That's an hour and a half ago, and my obligation is acting up.
Yeah, no, that's legit.
And my obligation is to be a perfect assassin.
Legit. I think that's your motivation, but yeah. Whatever.
Little column A, little column B.
All right. So, let's see. Helix, you're heading out to scout. Ares, you are heading out for food. Powder, what are you up to?
Powder is probably going to go back in and watch the gore loop over and over again for a while. Because whenever they can't think of something to do, it's maybe if I watch this for the 7 millionth time, something will come to me.
I mean, the 7 million is the point where you snap. But
well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Yeah, at some point that's going to have damaging psychological effects, and your brain is kind of aware that that's going to happen. But
luckily, though, I'm a droid, so
memory wipes.
It's not like you're going to wind up in a pool of blood.
Psychological effects are just one defrag away.
Yeah, I mean, memory wipe is kind of what got you into this mess, but also out of it, but also back into it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that.
Why can't I remember? Let's see if I can remember. Oh, that's why I can't remember. I want to forget again. Why can't I remember? Let's see if I remember.
Yeah.
Bit of that. Definitely a bit of that.
We'll see if Powder resorts to asking Lux for another memory wipe. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah. John, just roll me a D100.
Sure.
See if you have an uneventful going out to eat food.
93.
Yeah. So you find none of the food necessarily appeals to you. It is mostly the kind of things that the small agriculture that supports or it's a mining community produces. So decently hearty food, but not particularly appetizing. You do probably note as you're going out that despite it being fairly stereotypically agrarian in a lot of ways, there are no eggs. No one has any eggs on their menus or for sale or anything to that effect.
I assume this has something to do with the eggshells scattered all over the place. Are those still scattered all? Like, am I seeing eggshells on the ground as I walk around? Am I leaving a trail of eggshell?
Not until you sort of round a corner towards what is pretty obviously and clearly the town center. There's like a government building, and most of the sort of buildings surrounding it are much nicer and more sturdy than the stuff towards the outskirts. And that town center is entirely blanketed, and you saw this in Lux's photo, with several days old but otherwise pristine eggshells.
I walk through it. Crunch, 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 crunch. And then out loud, apropos of nothing, I see people are both figuratively and literally walking on eggshells. Crunch, 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 crunch.
That's the thing. No one until you has decided to walk on them.
No, this is good. This is good.
We find out if they're filled with grenades.
Yes.
If they're filled with grenades, I'm the best person to walk on them, so it's fine. Do I step on a landmine at any point in time?
We're gonna segue to Helix.
Okay,
now.
good.
Helix, you hear a loud explosion.
Or I scout enforcement officers coming to detain someone who walked on the eggshells. Yes.
You are, to my understanding, you are just sort of trying to socially scout around, get information, or was there something specific you wanted to go after?
Mostly military recon, seeing what the officials are doing at the moment, tracking down potentially important targets. I'm looking to do my job, which I was paid specifically to mess with the Empire on this planet. So I'm doing recon on that regard.
Just make me a vigilance and a stealth to see how that goes for you.
Difficulty for both of those?
Both of those are going to be difficulty too. They're the sort of things where the better you succeed, the better you do.
Let's see, stealth. Oh wait, no, I didn't. I messed up. I didn't have a boost die on that. My 2 boost die actually. Where?
I want you to get the same roll in the boost die.
I know.
Blank as they always do.
Yes, I know. But let me make sure I know exactly where my talents are. Talents. Yeah, because I know I have 3 ranks of Stalker, so I have 3 boost dice on stealth checks. This is relevant.
Feel free to re-roll if you didn't roll the correct dice or amounts.
Jeez. Okay, that's
holy shit snacks.
Okay, that happened.
More than half a glance, and even those that do glance in your direction, you're not entirely sure if it actually saw you or just saw what they were expecting to see, which was nothing.
I was, however, correct in that the bonus die were blank, blank, and then 2 advantages.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, those are supposed to represent things that could help, but are just circumstantial advantages, not definitive assistance.
The other check you said was vigilance?
Yeah.
Okay. That will be 3 successes and 2 advantages.
With 3 successes and 2 advantages, you notice that this sort of being late, there's a decent number more people around. Presumably those that were working in the mines or out in the fields are sort of coming back. But everyone you spot is clearly moving about their business very quickly. They are avoiding what's a good word for it? They're avoiding unnecessary contact or loitering. You also spot all of those blue orbs that you have previously noted being around the town. Or Lux relayed to you, sorry.
Yeah, that
Lux would have relayed to you about being around the town.
Nothing particularly noteworthy about troop movements or any particular Imperial operatives that seem to be doing anything of note, or do they actually see?
There's definitely some level of regular troop movement, not potentially as heavy as you would expect, but with three successes, you definitely get the general sense that these people are more unusual yet less regimented, potentially more dangerous than you'd expect of typical stormtroopers.
So it definitely sounds like tourist troops.
Yeah, that would match everything you're aware
of. Do I find it odd how light the troops appear to be?
Yes, though they don't seem to be running into any problems. Like, this definitely doesn't match the level you would expect.
So there are less soldiers about than I think there should be, but at the same time, that doesn't seem to be hindering them any.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting to note. Which means that either Taurus's mental grip on the population is just as strong as we expect it to be, which is probably the likely one, or these soldiers are particularly good, or a combination of both.
I mean, there is one way to find out if these soldiers are particularly good.
I mean, we've already killed one in their scout. I've killed 2 in their scout droid, so.
You killed 1, I killed 1.
Yeah.
Just because you've managed to kill them doesn't mean they're not more dangerous
than your typical stormtrooper, yeah. And more dangerous than your typical stormtrooper is vastly more dangerous than your typical non-combatant citizen.
Yes.
So.
Stormtroopers are surprisingly dangerous in this system, especially because they move in units of 4 or 5.
Yeah. Well, they might not be as individually potent as, say, an assassination droid. They move in numbers and are not bad shots.
But we're going to segue back to Powder. So you're just watching this video on loop, seeing death upon death upon death at your hands. I'm going to ask you to make me a discipline roll, difficulty 3. Okay. You're watching this over and over and over again, and it is emotionally somewhat exhausting. Just because you've seen this and maybe you're looking for something new, maybe you're just looking for the meaning behind what you've already seen, but the repetition itself is now dragging on you, and you take 2 points of strain damage from the sort of psychological effort.
I love that in Star Wars, even droids can get psychological damage.
Yeah, because droids are people as much as anyone else is. Also, psychological damage and electrocution are the same damage type. Yep. And droids can definitely be electrocuted.
I mean, being electrocuted is very psychologically stressful.
It is.
I kind of equate this to like Powder can't remember actually doing these things, but now they've watched this over and over so many times that they are starting to like have a feeling like they were actually doing these things.
You definitely have been writing this into your memory to some extent. And even if you understand that you don't have the original memories, you have the memory of these videos so much that it feels familiar.
Exactly.
And just like any other copy of a copy, it is starting to degrade somewhat.
Well, you know, Powder is already starting to degrade somewhat. So, you know, par for the course.
Lux, is there anything you wanted to be doing?
Yes, I am keeping an eye on any indications that our new related the new arrival that is related to our group may have arrived.
Okay.
Because that will make things much easier when he gets here.
Yep.
Or not easier. It will just mean that my one potential loose end on this whole thing is wrapped up in a neat little bow with a target on his head.
You still owe someone a lot of frag grenades.
That's fine. The frag grenades will keep. They aren't going bad anytime soon.
Okay.
How many do we owe, by the way?
Roughly half of what we have, I believe.
Okay, that's still plenty enough to fill a pit like a ball pit with frag
like
grenades and throw Yarrick in, because that's Ares' current plan. Is just
filling up a pit with frag grenades. Ares, as you walk through the eggshells, you're kind of yelling about it because nothing's gonna happen. They're fucking eggshells. None of them are full of bombs. It is probably just some really petty psychological trap or something to that effect. And you're walking sort of towards the center of the square because that is where the highest concentration of this is. And there's a few like stands and stuff in this square because presumably they were already there. They look like they match the architecture. You feel a rumbling beneath your feet for almost a second as the stone starts to fall away under you.
Oh.
Felix, a bit of a ways away, just scouting the town, you notice these blue bulbs start to flick off, rippling out through the town.
Not red warning, but off.
Yeah, they have this soft blue glow to them. Kind of, if you've seen most circular orb lights, that sort of soft glow.
Yeah, that sort of like the orb lights that have like the little suction cup on the top to hold them there. Yeah.
So is it the ground underneath me is falling away as if there is a pit underneath it, or as if something is coming out?
It seems to be more that it's falling away. Hey.
So there's a pit.
Light off. Helix, you are spotting this. And Lux, you probably have some level of monitoring what's going on outside because you're in the cockpit. You also, perhaps a second or two later, start spotting that coming sort of from the direction of town, the lights, those blue lights that are sort of dotting the intersections and dotting the crossroads, are flicking off in this rippling out fashion.
Huh.
So I'm activating my jetpack so I don't fall down, and sort of jetting up to a rooftop to look down and see what's going on?
We're going to see how fast you can do that because you weren't necessarily anticipating this.
I mean, sure.
So, what's a good, like, reflex roll?
Cool. Vigilance.
Cool is for prepared. So, yeah, I'm
Vigilance
going to
is
make
also-
this a vigilance roll. You have a setback die because, well, you might have expected something to happen. You had no way of knowing what would happen. And we're just going to roll for the system because I guess the system...
What difficulty?
Yeah. It's a difficulty, too, because... Or actually, no difficulty. It's just an initiative roll.
Okay. So then... Still a setback die then, or?
Yeah, actually, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we'll make it just an initiative roll.
Okay. My initiative would be 2-2.
2-2. Oh yes.
Yeah, because triumphs count as both for the initiative.
Triumphs count as both. I'm just trying to figure out what showed it as a
3-2
success
then?
but didn't show it as an advantage.
Or no, you're right. Never mind.
Because it exists there as the symbol.
Yeah.
Because if you draw the line for initiative after the successes, so everything before it is on the first half and everything after it is on the second half.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. 2-2. Let's see.
I am in a 2-2 character slot. We have a 2-2.
Yeah, triumphs display a little bit weirdly because they put the success on the list, but then they display themselves after the advantages because they're like an advantage, but they can do so much more.
I mean, one of two things here. Either Ares gets out of this fine, and it's another example of people defying Aki, so it works, or Ares dies, and once Yara comes on planet, I recruit him.
I mean, even if I fall, unless the fall is so short as to not hurt me, I will still have time to turn my jetpack on.
Well, I mean, you can now start to spot what's below you as the ground starts caving under. It seems like the rocks of this are crumbling away, but as you spot it, you notice that they're not necessarily crumbling away so much as being ground to dust by the many interlocking razor blades circling below you, which you are very much falling towards.
Okay.
So, let's see.
I was looking forward to another Mandalorian falling into a Sarlacc.
It's like a Mecha Sarlacc.
Mecha Sarlacc.
Don't make that, guys. That's terrifying. Don't make a Mecha Sarlacc.
Make Mecha Sarlaccs.
I mean,
I'm sure someone somewhere has thought of it and probably tried
much like Mecha Godzilla, it would be far more underwhelming than you would anticipate.
Mecha Godzilla is the fucking shit. I was gonna say man, but not really a man, and more of a lizard. But it's not a lizard; it's a robot. But it's also a So yeah, it's the fucking shit.
It's a robot
So
lizard.
do not have the authority to comment on the gendering of kaiju. So we're quickly moving on to you slam on your jetpack with enough time to avoid more than just brushing these sharp blades. But you do take 3 damage before jerking yourself out of the trap with the power of jetpacks.
So I take no damage.
Okay.
Because my soak is 6.
Yep.
I like the idea of you fly up. Ow! Why does my foot itch? And you look down. It's because you don't have a foot anymore.
I mean, if you hadn't succeeded the initiative check, that's about what would have happened.
I've lost body parts before.
you would have had 2 crits, and yeah, it would have been fun.
Yeah, but
But
like not like the full leg
It's
or like
now
at the
just
knee.
a churning mess of razors, and you do notice that there's almost no light out anymore. It's pretty much dark except for
Which makes you, Mr. Flamey Jetpack, a shining beacon in the
Hey,
night.
I shine bright like a diamond. Thank you very much.
All right, Riri.
So, landing on a rooftop, assuming the
So-
roof doesn't then start collapsing and there's razor blades under that too.
To be clear, looking out over this now darkened city through my surveillance, do I see a giant flamey jetpack?
You know, he's always away and pretty small, so just give me a perception difficulty of 2.
Okay.
I'm probably a little bit closer. Do I also?
Helix, you definitely spot a fiery. You know what a Mandalorian looks like with a jetpack.
Yeah.
Jolt out of there and seem to land on a rooftop.
Boba Fett's a little.
He was getting dinner.
Just an advantage.
You definitely spot something spark out, but you don't have. You are like a warehouse district away, so you
Okay.
can't really make out what it is.
I mean, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and come up with something that is not 5.
You won't have
That
to
is
because
less than 5 and more than 3. As I turn on the comms to everybody, it's like, this is your captain speaking. Does anybody have something they need to tell me?
I mean, you were probably intercepted as you were going to turn on the comms because the very first thing I was doing as the landing was hitting the comms into everyone. Can someone please explain me why there is a giant razor blade machine underneath the town square that was full of eggshells?
No, we can't because we hadn't fucked with the eggshells yet.
Well, I walked on the eggshells and the floor fell away, and there's a giant fuck-off razor blade machine underneath it.
I see.
Query.
Please hold.
Query. Are you familiar with a Sarlacc pit?
Yes.
Please stand by for-
Only really, really terrible, like terrible judgment, like not at all good whatsoever fighters ever get caught in a Sarlacc pit. Because you can see them from a mile away and they don't fucking move.
So, hold music starts.
Follow up query. Would you describe it as looking similar to a mechanical Sarlacc?
Yes.
Considering that it's all dark and that all he could see was by the light of the flame shooting off his back as he desperately tried to move upwards, it's not inconceivable. Anyways, inside the ship, since Powder is still there, you hear a loud, long string of screamed, shouted profanity in various languages.
I just want to be clear. No one said don't walk on the eggshells.
Powder
It
walks
was
in
kind
there
of
with
implied in the text in the description of the area, but no one told you explicitly that. You're right.
It was just a picture of a town square full of eggshells.
And they did explain there was some sort of scare tactic to mess with the
All right.
civilians.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, that goes on for about a minute.
Powder walks in holding a drink.
And at that, by the time you get in there, leaning back down, takes it off hold. All right. So, what's your status right now?
Standing on
Well,
the rooftop.
it took a whole minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably getting shot at.
I need to find the correct.
Good thing I have my gun.
I mean,
Yeah.
I maintain that no matter what's going on in the middle of the firefight, there will be just the calm sound of a Zeltra like, all right, What's your status?
3 stormtroopers down.
I mean, I wouldn't count on it yet, but you know what? Let's roll Helix into the initiative.
Yeah. How do I do? Let's see. Initiative.
These guys take really serious offense to walking on the eggshells.
Is this vigilance or cool? I feel like it's vigilance because I'm not exactly looking for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably vigilance unless you were anticipating that things would start exploding.
No, I'm actually surprisingly better at snapping into a combat than into a fight that I have prepared for, which is funny because my vigilance is better than my cool. I have a success and 4 advantages. I am at 1-4.
That does seem backwards. Like, I feel like cool is the thing that you would roll if you were unprepared, and vigilance, because vigilance is keeping an eye out, and cool is keeping your calm. That does seem backwards.
So to explain it the way the book does, if you know that a fight is going to break out, you're potentially twitchy. It's regulating your tension is cool. Whereas vigilance is noticing something you were not anticipating to be there.
Fair enough.
Cool is making sure you're not the one who pulls his gun first in the Wild West standoff, because the guy who pulls his gun first is always the one who gets shot.
Yeah, it's somewhat that. It's also like, yeah, it's somewhat where you go in the round. It's
cool.
I know that this is going to turn into a fight. I know this is going to turn into a fight. Being so wound up that you miss it is failing your cool roll.
If everyone remembers the McCree short for Overwatch, cool is the entire gang standing around McCree.
Yep. Yeah. Or the failure of cool.
Yeah.
McCree succeeded that roll.
Because McCree automatically succeeds all cool rolls.
I don't have a character sheet in my other thing, so we're just going to slightly modify this guy.
Because Matt Mercer.
I was going to say because Cyber Cowboy, but okay.
No. Not every cyber cowboy.
Hashtag not all cyber cowboys.
Yes.
I defy you to come up with more than 3 cyber cowboys.
Cowboy Bebop characters.
None of them are actually cowboys.
Space dandy characters.
None of them are actually cowboys either.
Trigun. The entire cast of Trigun.
Some of them are cowboys. Most of them are cyber, but not necessarily are they the same 2 things.
Okay. That's going to be a long debate because I have arguments about
various sci-fi settings. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can get. Obviously, there are more than 3.
I mean, I'm just going to say one word: Westworld.
I mean, yes, there are definitely cyber cowboys.
Literally all cyber cowboys.
Yes. Though I haven't seen Westworld, so I went for the things that I've actually seen.
Though to be clear, I did say name specific cowboys, not the show that they're in.
Teddy. Fucking.
Okay, before this goes on for far too long, Ares, having landed on a roof, given that you were not anticipating combat until this moment and thus haven't had time to activate anything that requires activation, what penalties do you impose on a shot that's taking place at extreme range?
3 setback dice.
Okay.
None of my stuff is activated, it's just what I'm carrying.
Right.
I don't have a shield generator. If I did, I'd be ridiculously hard to hit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're never getting a shield generator. You're already hard enough to hit.
If I did, it would be 5. It would be it'd be 5.
Allies.
Also, I like that Helix got a 1-4 on the initiative.
Yep.
I'm going to give him what for?
Oh, are we going to get an initiative tracker?
Yeah, let's actually bring up the turn tracker. 1 for
PC.
Which of those is not a PC roll?
Probably the 2-1.
No, the 4-1 is not, because you got a 1-4, I got a 2-2, but it didn't show the triumph as a second.
Oh, right, you're at a 2-2.
Yeah.
Then
so then the 4-1 would have been.
We're just gonna roll him twice, even though I already know where the NPCs go. I mean, that's not inaccurate, but slightly off. Okay. All right. So Aries, you just went, meaning that first one takes a shot at you.
Worth noting, what range are they firing at?
Extreme.
So that'll be 3 difficulty?
Yep.
If they even can, because some weapons can't fire in extreme range.
This one can. It doesn't hit, but a good portion of the Aries is, as you're landed on this roof, you feel sort of the breeze on the back of your neck and a bit of your shield fizzing at something as is the sort of chimney stack of this roof you've landed on has a huge, not just scorch mark, but acidic dent into it.
Back over the comms. I'm currently under fire.
Helix, your go.
Well, I have not made myself noticed.
No, you have not.
So I would like to get an angle on the Imperials that are firing at Ares.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, from where you are, it's probably pretty reasonable to spot the glint of someone seemingly positioned on one of the barracks roofs.
Mm-hmm.
You would be at extreme range, but
that is fine.
You know, since I'm not in the initiative tracker, he's just like, all right. Helix, do you happen to be in the area?
Response: taking aim now.
Wonderful. You're on. You two are on your own.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna have fun here.
That's what I figured.
What does the range band on a weapon indicate?
The range band indicates the farthest range that it can get to.
Okay, which is increased for me, I believe, because I have sniper shot.
Yeah, if you have a, I think scopes can increase the range if you have a scope attachment.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the sniper shot feat, which means before making another range attack, they perform a sniper shot to maneuver to increase the weapon's range by 1 range band per rank in sniper shot. Okay. And
extreme is the farthest you can shoot.
Yeah. Okay. And it's already a long range weapon, so I can.
So then it just goes, it just goes straight to extreme.
Okay, and that'll be a difficulty 3 shot.
I believe so. Double checking that now, but I'm pretty certain it doesn't go above 3.
And I'll just sort of take the time to line the shot up, prepare it, and I will go ahead and take the precise aim maneuver and fire.
Okay.
Which means it reduces the target's melee and range defense by 1, and I take an extra point of strain by doing so. And we'll go ahead. Okay, so.
Wait, no, hang on. Sorry, extreme range is 4 difficulty. It is 4.
Extreme range is 4? Okay.
All right. So it's engaged is easy, which is 1. Short is easy, which is 1. Medium is average, which is 2. Long is hard, which is 3. And extreme is 4, which is daunting. Extreme is daunting, which is 4.
So, question for the game master.
Yep.
The ability targeted blow just says, oh no, it does say when I can use it. It says after making a successful attack, I can spend the destiny point to add damage equal to my agility. Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Yeah. And I consider successful to be you got a success.
Yes.
But
so then we will go ahead and roll my attack.
All right, you have 2 setback die for these guys being entrenched.
All right, so 2 setbacks. Those are the black dice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Success, threat, triumph.
You can trigger a crit with that triumph.
I would like to trigger a crit with that triumph. Yeah. I would also like to spend one of our destiny and add an extra with my agility. Add an extra 5 damage to that.
All right.
And then critical. I do have it is vicious 5, and I do have the.
So that's a plus 50 on the crit roll.
I believe I also have something else that affects crit rolls. I also have lethal blows, which is rank 1, so plus 10, so plus 60 on the critical hit roll.
All right, plus 60 to the critical hit roll.
That might just kill him.
He only rolled an 8.
Wow.
Yeah. This guy's lucky and alive.
I mean, is he alive after 19 damage?
No. You seem to have... He is lucky to not have critted to death, but otherwise then died of independent causes called being shot.
I mean, I feel like that's not luck because the crit would be the crit death would probably be less painful.
Okay.
Massive sudden system shock.
Helix, you just take aim and your laser goes directly through this person's scope and right into their skull.
I was aiming by the glint, so that works. Yep.
There's a Sniper Elite kill cam and
I love those.
I appreciate game series that have found a fun mechanic and run with it. Sniper Elite, Far Cry, Just Cause. Here's the thing.
It's very satisfying.
This is our satisfying gimmick. Yep. Okay, well that makes it the other one's turn. And you know what? It doesn't seem like this is a great time to be sniping. So...
Hi, there's a better sniper on the field.
It's like, all right, you got it? Missed. Okay, well, I'll take it. Bobby?
Helix, you wouldn't have any reason to necessarily know where this guy is. Neither of you would, actually.
Nope.
So...
Wait, this guy's not a sniper. He has a rocket launcher.
The question then becomes, how well did he track me from the single shot that took out his friend?
The rocket launcher would be the better solution.
There is silence. Oh, they've got a Star Destroyer. They could aerial bombard you, and that is 10 times the effect it has on
a Star Destroyer would definitely kill Ares. And then I would be able to say it took a Star Destroyer to kill Ares. And that's not a bad way to go.
No, it's not. But that doesn't... You do not yet see a Star Destroyer above you firing its guns.
We are not getting glassed right now.
You actually don't hear anything. And sort of through your next turn, you won't hear anything either.
He fucked off and ran for reinforcements.
So,
what do you guys want to do? You want to stay here? You want to start trying to head away? Stealth?
So did I see the shot?
You saw probably the aftermath of the shot taken at you and definitely saw the shot.
Yeah, the Helix's shot was the...
Yes. And you can determine from your height that went through the guy's skull. There is no skull there anymore. He's dead.
So, Helix, would you like a play-by-play of what your shot did to that person? I say to the full comlink so everyone can hear.
Before we get into reliving our glory, how are things going?
Remark, I do have scopes in my own optics. I did manage to see what happened.
Yeah, but I've got a much better view.
You're welcome to describe for the rest of the group if you so desire.
Focus.
Report. The one who has taken a shot at Ares no longer exists. I suspect if any others were in the vicinity, they may have fled for reinforcements upon realizing there was a superior marksman in their midst.
Yeah, not only does he not exist, his fucking scope got blown out too.
Or they are just hiding as they radio for reinforcements, because this is the Empire. They have all the expensive tech.
Oh no, I know. I'm looking. I would like to look around.
The Empire runs like the government.
Yeah.
They still use floppy disks.
I am just sort of looking around to see if there are any other shooters that I can see from my vantage point.
You can make me a vigilance roll. Difficulty 3.
2, 3. I have any? I will be used. You have a thing.
Okay.
I have scanner goggles, which scanner goggles removes a setback die for darkness or debris.
Yeah, I wasn't including that at the moment, but that's a good point. It's complete darkness, so we'll say that you have 2 setback die, one of which is removed.
Yeah, but it's Diff 3, 1 setback.
Yeah, that's fair. It's entirely dark right now.
Yeah, that's why I was using my scanner goggles. Vigilante.
I also have inbuilt scanner goggles in my head.
Helix, you're free to make this check as well if you would like.
1 success and an advantage.
All right, with 1 success and an advantage, you spot several groups that seem to either be running for cover or running for some location. Some of those groups do seem to probably be Imperial. It also seems like anyone who was outside having a nice night or getting shopping done has decided that not being out here is the best plan.
I do spot a couple groups of Imperials that are moving on the ground, and
none of them seem to be sniping.
I will relay their locations to Helix. None of them seem to be taking shots, though.
I would like to vanish.
Wait a minute. What exactly are they doing? They're just moving?
Are they running towards away?
In specific directions. Your guess would be, given that all of the lights went out, they know what to do when that happens and they're executing upon that.
Seems like they're executing some sort of plan. Don't know what that plan is. Presumably related to the fact that everything went dark.
All right, your choices are yours. What I would strongly suggest is get out of there, and if you do, please do me a favor and lose any potential pursuers or followers by moving through the city before you head back to the ship.
Felix, want to meet up?
Acknowledgement. I will find you.
I'm going to jet down to the ground so that I'm not blazing a trail of fire across the sky.
Yeah, that would be obvious.
I would like to vanish.
All right.
And then I will also be attempting stealth.
Okay, make stealth rolls. I'm gonna give you both. You both have night vision scopes, meaning neither of you are necessarily impaired by the darkness. I'm gonna give you both a boost die for it being completely dark and thus very challenging to see you even standard.
I have 4 boost die.
What difficulty?
Difficulty of 2.
I'm invisible.
That boost die doesn't apply if you decide to jetpack, but I think you decided.
No, I know. I'm getting on the ground. 4 successes and a threat for me.
Yeah, both of you, after a short amount of time, duck through the even in less trafficked and less visible parts of the city, meeting back up as you head towards the warehouse district that the ship is docked at. You're confident you've lost any pursuers.
I love that Helix's paint job is like just off black so that it doesn't stand out from normal darkness. And so when he approaches, it's just the yellow eyes appearing out of the darkness.
Cue Gaijinguma references and...
My armor is chrome and red, so the fact that I'm stealthy is kind of awesome. It's just like, oh, wait, how did I fucking miss you?
You probably do a lot more hiding behind things.
Yeah, it's commando stealth. It's not just being invisible stealth. Do the dodging and rolling when you're not looking, as opposed to just walking.
Like all of those assassins who were wearing up past Altair and up through Evie and Jacob,
who are wearing long white robes.
The most obvious robes possible.
Yeah.
I feel like that is. I mean, it's established in the first game that it's to camouflage with monks, but also I feel like it is also just a challenge. If you can stealth past people with these obvious white robes, then you're good.
I like the idea that that's what the interpretation was later on. Yeah. Okay. Moving away from Assassin's Creed very briefly. Yeah. The two of you, I assume, may eventually make your way back to the ship. None of these lights have turned back on.
Yep. Oh, getting back inside the ship. Well, that was a brisk bit of being shot at.
I'm going to do my best to try and monitor communications.
Query, would you like me to keep an eye on the outside visually?
That would be good.
Me too.
Specifically, I'm using the droid and trying to use that through that droid to tap into the communications.
All right.
I know that's probably
just go with a difficulty 3 computers because it's not easy, but you have already opened this thing up pretty thoroughly.
Cool.
Helix and I will keep an eye outside. Is there a mounted... Am I remembering correctly that we have a mounted turret in one of the doors?
I thought that was the old ship, but you may have moved it.
I don't remember if it's... I feel like...
It was definitely in your first ship. I just don't remember if you moved it when you sold that ship.
I would assume we would have.
Okay. Sure. There's a...
I just don't remember what gun it was.
I think it's just like a blaster rifle.
No, it was a heavy repeater. That's right.
Yeah, it would be a heavy repeater.
Yeah, definitely a gun.
Put it in the ship stats.
Yeah, I'll put it in the ship.
And I will just take up a position because I have mag boots. I use it for spacewalks. I'll just take up a position on the roof, in a spot where I can blend in and not be noticed, and just keep a visual eye out.
Darius didn't get hit, right? He just got shot at, but he didn't get shot.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure.
Lux, through the first sort of half hour of monitoring this, almost all of what you hear is there's some very energetic motorcycles outside.
Yes, there are.
And that's all you hear.
No, you hear that you hear a lot of groups. This group has checked in its outposts. It seems like they're doing an inventory of their people and their stuff.
Okay.
A lot of it's uninteresting. Much of what might be interesting, like exact troop numbers, is somewhat coded because they all know how many people are in Quadrant Alpha. You're just not quite sure what those numbers are.
Yeah, I'm less concerned about like logistics intelligence than like their response plan.
Right.
Or how they are reacting to this whole thing.
Okay. It seems like at this point they're still doing inventory, and they're probably going to finish that before they respond in any way.
Okay.
I did take an Imperial comlink out of the helmet of the one that I killed. I would like to keep listening in if I can as well.
All right.
Oh, well, that would have been useful.
Yeah, you're both getting the same information through that about check-ins and at one point there's someone who appears to be missing and they're informed died earlier today. Taurus is handling it. And Lux, you can make the conjecture. That, unsurprisingly, that body was found quickly.
Didn't, Ares also take the helmet off the second one that we killed?
Yeah, that's why.
I got my comlink from the first one.
Yes, I did take the helmet off the second one.
So you guys have 2 helmets with comlink links.
I would have given that to Lux then.
Okay.
Lux would have that.
Lux is just sitting in the cockpit, like feet up on the console
with the stormtrooper helmet on.
Dressed like she normally dresses with a stormtrooper helmet on.
Helix just sort of separated the comlink from the helmet and integrated it in basically a drop link, which basically, if anyone tries to use it to connect to him, you can just drop it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Would it be possible, with my computer's knowledge, to... this is important, period. Make sure there's no trackers on these.
Mm-hmm.
And B, figure out a way to make to make it so we can communicate to them through it without giving our position away.
So you can determine that there isn't any location tracker.
Okay.
However, each of these comlinks definitely has an independent code where, especially like the command centers and stuff, can be like, this is this specific code. I know which trooper that belongs to.
Right. But they'll know whose helmet it is. But if I communicate through it to the Empire, will they be able to use that signal to track me?
If you do it over a long period of time while they're actively looking for you, they might be able to, but not like... It's more like a radio, where you've got anyone who's on that specific channel can probably use a walkie-talkie to communicate. And yes, theoretically, you could go around with a scanner and be like, oh, there's one coming from this angle. Let's follow that.
It would prompt them to change channels, though, which would probably then cut off any information.
But you could then send a message and turn it off would solve that. Or not repeatedly, not just continually be talking on it would solve that. But yeah, they definitely know what helmet it is.
That's fine. I don't care if they know. I don't care if, that's fine. I don't care if they know.
Post.
Yeah, I don't care if they know what dead person I'm using their helmet.
But while you're sort of trying to figure this out and wire things up, just in case you can shut it off very quickly, all of that, they seem to be finishing their inventory. Nothing is particularly out of place. And you start hearing some level of their plans for what they're going to do next.
Okay.
It seems like the lights are going to remain off from what you can gather, which is a lot of the in-between chatter, not the actual declarations. Lights are going to be remaining off. They're going to be collecting the townsfolk tomorrow morning for... it seems like Aki is going to give a speech. They're still investigating the exact methods and trying to identify the people.
Okay.
All of you are able to hear this because you have enough comm links to also give one to Powder at this point.
Here, Powder, hold this droid. It's going to talk to you.
Alas, poor Yorick. Oh, wait.
I've added the mounted heavy repeater into the shot of the ship's character sheet. I've marked it as an internal turret, so the stats that it uses are not relevant for fighting other ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, not perfectly relevant.
If we were to open the side of the ship up and fire at it, it would do 1 damage to ships, not 15.
Yeah, it does. It does 1/10. So technically,
it can do a damage to a ship. Yes.
But keep in mind, ships have a lot of armor and operate on a scale of magnitude bigger. Yeah. Sorry, Jeremy, you want to do a message?
Right. So, all right, folks. Before I send the message, they're going to gather people this tomorrow morning for a speech. I don't think this is going to go well for the citizens.
Sarcastic remark. No one has ever gathered up a bunch of citizens in order to make a demonstration before.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I think we need to cut him off at the pass a little bit on that.
Well, do you know where Aki Torres is?
I'm about to find out. So I turn on the comm unit. Hello, is this thing on? Well, is anybody there? This
You're being read, Ed, you're being read. Ed, what's the situation?
Awesome. This is Unit 2925-13-5. We have a situation here. I need to get a comm channel to the boss.
Using this will work.
All right. Hey, Aki. Babe. I hope you got my message. Long time no see. Listen, I know that you're I know that you probably have plans, and I know that we probably upset your plans, and I just want you to know how even the mere thought of messing up your plans actually in some ways physically arouses me. So
as long as we've been playing this game, I've struggled quite hard to determine what doesn't physically arouse you. And you do recognize Aki's voice.
I mean, you're not wrong. But how are you doing?
Delightful. Thank you so much for your help with my little demonstration. I was worried no one was ever going to play my game.
Oh, see, here's the thing. Is I know enough about people like you. I know you're a beautiful and unique snowflake all in yourself, but you are people like you is still a thing. I know enough to know people like you and to know that you really don't need an excuse to do whatever it is you're going to do. And that you are going to try to do what the Empire usually does, which is commit atrocities and blame it on the people who have come here to oppose you. And I just want you to know that I don't give a fuck.
I know
don't care about how you're going to play this from a PR standpoint, because I've learned something over the years, which is that how best to put this? There are things that the Empire is very good at, and I give them credit for. Playing the PR game is definitely one of them. And that the innocent people that get caught in the middle of this are going to do what's best for best for themselves, and that's totally understandable. And the only way to win this is to, unfortunately, not give a shit about courting their opinions. So you can do your thing, and you can make your statement, and you can set up the hoops for your game. Just know that whatever it is, I'm just going to kick the board over, and I'm going to play it on my terms.
Neither of us are really into the public relations aspect of all this. We've both got people for that.
That's true.
Siolo, right?
I suppose. I mean,
Wait, is she gonna kill Sai? Please tell me she's gonna kill Sai.
I mean, I feel like that's where this is going, and that will make me feel bad for about 3 seconds. Maybe 3, maybe 2.5. If I'm feeling really emotional, it might make it to 5.
You're making me more and more disappointed that I didn't find him and get him on this call by the moment.
I mean, look, you do what you're gonna do. I need to make something clear to you, which is, this is between me and you right now.
And Mr. Artinas, hello.
No. That's what I'm trying to say. This is between me and you. Anybody else in this equation is expendable and doesn't matter.
Seems fair.
So you can kill Sai. You can kill citizens here. You can kill, I don't know. What's the name? What was the name of that fucking Zabrak that we were working with for a while?
Praz?
Yeah, you can kill Praz. I don't give a shit, because you guys have already played this game for years now, and I'm sick of it. So now it's just me against you guys.
We're not playing Risk, we're playing Candyland.
Can it be Chutes and Ladders? I mean, I feel like you've already started the shoots.
Far less violent.
You've already started the shoots. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that before you do whatever it is you're gonna do. And I know you're gonna play. You're gonna. Well, you might assume. I don't know. I want to give you more credit than this, but the odds are good that you're going to assume that this is me just putting on an act so that you feel like it's useless to go through these acts of terrorism and things like that. It's not an act. Like, I fully know that no matter what I'm saying right now, You are going to murder people, and it doesn't bother me. I just wanted you to know that because I want you to have that feeling of emptiness as you do it.
Fair enough, but honestly, you're not who I'm trying to bother.
I mean, are you trying to bother anybody else who's on the call? Are you trying to bother the citizens? Are you trying to bother my so-called superiors? Like I'm not sure what your end game is here.
You may not care about these people, but I do. I like to see how things turn out. And you or one of your friends just traipsed onto something that they've been dreading and conjuring nightmare upon nightmare about what will happen if and when it goes wrong.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm going to have a lot of fun making it worse than anything that they dreamed up.
And see,
whatever you feel about that, it would be nice if you wanted to play along, but you're not part of this planet's labor force. I don't need your compliance.
You're absolutely right. A couple things. First of all, you bring up a good point. You do need the labor force. That's why I know you're going to have to hold back from what you really want to do. And I bet that pisses you off just a little, where you wouldn't admit it. Like you're going to act like, oh no, it's fine. I'm doing this because I want to, because I'm in control. Inside it bothers you a little bit. I just would like you to acknowledge it, although I don't think you will. And second,
I'm looking out the door, seeing when the stormtroopers are arrived, because Lux has been talking for a long time.
Oh, I know. I'm shutting off soon. And second, I know that you're trying to phrase it as in one of us set off the trap. So now you have to do something. And that's probably the way you're going to present it. But anybody with half a brain knows that it's not the person who sets off the trap who's responsible for what happens after. And if these people are worth the time invested to save them, they'll know that too. I just wanted you to know where I'm coming from before we get started.
See, the thing that's different between me and you is I have never had an inch of control over my life.
Mm-hmm. You should try it. It's very freeing once you stop giving a shit. That said, I'm sure you're a busy person. I'm a busy person. I think that it's time that we just let the cards fall. So it's been wonderful. I'll talk to you later, I'm sure.
Have a great night, Lux. Sleep well.
I already turned it off.
She's still talking.
And that is where we're going to end for the night.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.